if I start to be dysfunctional, or if I start to fail at some things, people would get to know. So the best thing I can do is excel at my job, or excel at whatever I'm doing, and I can battle my issues at night when I'm alone.
But it's not right, because when you're alone, who are you letting out to? How are you letting out? We are the generation with perfect pictures, but a sad generation at that.
The other thing that, in my own opinion, I think we need to unlearn suffering in silence.
That's a hard one for most people, but we are getting there.
Because I meet people at different workstations, and then they tell me, you know what, I've been... Say, why are you suffering in silence? Say, no, I cannot talk to my boss about it. Say, so what's the worst that can happen if you talk to them? Say, I might lose my job.
We are covering up everything by excelling at work, excelling in expectations from society, from family, and our way of having fun is going out to all these different events and just drinking, and you just go home and you're just happy and you sleep.
What's up, guys? Today we are talking about high functioning depression. This is Mind Your Head podcast, hosted by Canary Mugume and Sheila Tusiime. Today, the topic is, I think, very, very familiar with so many corporates. Sometimes they realize it, sometimes they don't. But the silent struggle behind success. You meet people, they're extremely successful, you admire them. They have happy faces, wake up every day, beat deadlines, are able to socialize, they go to work, they go to social events. But when they go back home, they're battling things that you wish you knew, you wish you could help. Sheila, the silent struggle behind success. Can you relate?
I can relate. Isn't that most of us?
Yeah?
I think it's most of us.
The corporate world. Remember the other day we did a podcast on millennials, what's happening with millennials these days. And I think this is what it is. That previously or traditionally, associating mental health challenges would be as a result of mental breakdown. But now, I think corporates are able to achieve exactly what they are supposed to achieve, but that doesn't mean that they are not battling mental health challenges.
The question is it right? Maybe the experts can share in the comment section, because I would call it running away from reality or the problems. As we continue to run away from them, eventually I think they catch up with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you quietly suffer while at the same time you are excelling? Like, people these days have figured out a way. They'll excel extremely at the same time. In fact, excel even when they're battling.
Yeah.
Excel even better even when they're battling or mental health challenges or when they are suffering. So why many people might relate is because...
So guys, have you subscribed? Please subscribe.
Like now, you push through the day, but you're emotionally exhausted. And then I think you don't want people to know. So at that point, you realize, if I start to be dysfunctional, or if I start to fail at some things, people would get to know. So the best thing I can do is excel at my job, or excel at whatever I'm doing, and I can battle my issues at night when I'm alone.
But it's not right, because when you're alone, who are you letting out to? How are you letting out? But I think the corporates have figured their way through this. And that's... They keep saying we are a happy country, we are a happy generation and society. We are the generation with perfect pictures, but a sad generation at that. Because we are covering up everything by excelling at work, excelling in expectations from society, from family, and our way of having fun is going out to all these different events and just drinking, and you just go home and you're just happy and you sleep, and tomorrow you wake up and deal with whatever you have to deal with and excel at it. Find another way to escape whichever way it could be. There's a fun trip to attend, there's this to attend to, that will just give you joy, but it's temporary joy.
Right.
Because you're not actually dealing with the problem. The same, I think in one of the podcasts we talked about alcohol not being the problem, but using it as an escape route to what the actual problem is.
Right.
So I think it's the corporates have embraced that to survive, to thrive, because once you succeed at work, once you succeed according to society expectations, then no one is going to actually look at you and say you're failing.
On that note, is why we are here where we are, suffering silently at the same time excelling, is because society praises productivity, it praises resilience, so you want exactly to meet that, the expectations.
Especially for the men, resilience at whatever cost.
Yes. And then stigmatizes emotional vulnerability. So we want to exactly, that has shaped who we are today. That I could come here, smile in front of the camera, but while I'm off the camera, you do not know what's going through my mind.
And I think we need to, using our different platforms, to tell people that it is okay. I was sharing with a group of men, and the statement, the Westerners use it a lot. The people from the Central have started using it as well. Bananda babatia. We can't live by that, you know. Our parents, our uncles lived by that. But things have changed, you know. And again, to quote the Westerners is, iwe obamshijachi, because you're not strong enough. You're not holding in enough. But I'd rather break down and heal and then become a better person.
Right.
Than have all these accomplishments according to society and then I commit suicide. Because those are the cases we've seen. Because this person is holding back. You're not letting them be. They are living according to societal expectations and family expectations, not who they really want to be. So they've achieved according to the standards of society and parents, but they're not happy.
They're not happy.
Yeah.
And I feel like we need to redefine success. Because if success is hitting my KPIs and I'm above 80%, key performance indicators, if I am like Michelle here, if her target is sales above a certain figure for the business, it means that I'll be able to excel at that. But what if I go home when I have extreme burnout? I'm feeling sad because maybe someone at work did not treat me well. It means that I can maintain sales for this month or maybe the next month, but that does not mean that it is guaranteed for the next of the months. Why? Because I'm excelling at what I'm doing, but inside myself, I'm not feeling happy. I'm not feeling valued. I'm not feeling at my best. So the question then becomes, are we able to redefine success? Can success be both ways? At what I am doing and able to achieve, but also success in terms of me as a person. Do I feel like this is exactly what I want? Can I enjoy my success, my fruits? Can I enjoy my good work, that I've excelled at work? At the same time, I feel happy as a person.
I think it's the message that people have been trying to preach these days, work-life balance. Yeah, trying to find the balance. Is there any balance anyway? But I think it's trying to find what works for each person, because I don't think there's a script to it that we need to follow this, because it could work for Canary and it doesn't work for Sheila. But trying to find what works for you. But I also think, especially for the corporate world, it's the leaders leading by action, leading by engaging the people and creating these spaces of letting people let out. We're talking about our workplace as an example, where we have that meditation space, you know, to create those small spaces where we have that rooftop where you can just sit and just calm down. Yeah. To be intentional about creating those spaces for people.
We have a wellness day every Thursday where you have a day where you go and talk to someone, you talk to a counselor, even if it's small things like massaging your neck.
Yes.
Companies need to start investing in such things.
So investing in human resource, but also not just investing. It needs to be intentional. What do you want to achieve? probably doing a survey to find out what is the biggest problem and then addressing that problem, because you could put up all this equipment and all these services and it's not what they want.
So the people, investing in the people themselves, I think that's where it needs to begin. For workspaces, why do you invest a lot of money in corporate social responsibility, helping sijui what community, but people at work
when
are
your
suffering?
People are,
Yet
when
you
your
could
people
just invest just a small budget of that CSR into wellness of the people. The other thing that, in my own opinion, I think we need to unlearn suffering in silence.
That's a hard one for most people, but we are getting there.
Because I meet people at different workstations, and then they tell me, you know what, I've been... Say, why are you suffering in silence? Say, no, I cannot talk to my boss about it. Say, so what's the worst that can happen if you talk to them? Say, I might lose my job. Lose your job because you're suffering. So you'd rather suffer and be unhappy, live such an unhappy life. Because if you trust in your abilities, I believe, somehow, somewhere. I know it's not easy to find a job these days, but again, I think people need to make attempts.
Your health matters.
Yeah, your health matters. So we need to unlearn suffering in silence. It's not cool anymore.
And also unlearn the fact that suffering is not an achievement. You know those people who are in office at 6, 5, and they're the last to leave, and they're there, and the weekend they're also there.
Yeah.
Because they have projects, they have deadlines, they have work, and everyone else does. But eventually when you break down, life will move on in that organization. So it's to put yourself first and your health first. Self
first, health first.
Yes.
That's also a conversation that we need. Are you suffering in silence? Is it something that you're also struggling with? Can you let us know what you think about it? Before we end this conversation, Sheila, the most successful people I know have gone through different waves of mental breakdowns. And they never talk about it until maybe they come up in an interview or share, in person. How do we create spaces where these people are able to share, especially those that are successful, are able to share their stories of mental breakdowns and how they have overcome or continue to heal? So people who are working below them or people who are inspired by their work are able to learn, say, wait, this is not a thing for me alone. It's a thing for everyone who is struggling to achieve something. How do we create spaces where such people are able to share such stories? Could be in really smaller spaces at their jobs, at their workstations,
I think it's the leaders themselves being intentional and creating the atmosphere for someone to walk up to you and say, today is not a good day for me, right? And you as a leader to be willing to honestly listen to this person and say, I'll give you the afternoon off, or I'll give you the day off. To put the person first before work, right? And be able to listen to this person and understand them. And creating these, I see some companies doing retreats, doing team buildings to just engage and get people into that moment where they're free and relaxed and able to share. The other option would be bringing these professionals or experts to the people, but also letting them know that it is okay. It is okay. You're not the first, you're not the last. And when we share as a community or as communities, we learn that maybe my problem is not as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
Maybe if Canary shares his, I could pick one or two things. I may be going through the same thing and I don't want to share, but because he has shared, I've learned something. Yeah. It may not be for me.
Gives me the courage to share.
Yeah, it could be for someone that I know, that I love, that is struggling in whatever way. So it's creating those environments where people are able to share.
One thing I can think of is exchange programs. You see, I think we still do have the end of quarter kind of talks, which at work we call the next media talks. You have like the CEO of MTN come and speak to us about like a certain topic and give it a certain angle. Could be mental health. It could be success. It could be, building resilience and stuff like that. And then you also have like one of our own go to another company. You've seen our boss go to like EcoBank and speak to them, or speak to the golf club and things like that. Exchange programs. Can companies now create spaces where their leaders could be on senior management level or top level to be able to go to other companies and share? But also exchange programs in terms of, if, for example, I have a group of people who are on like middle management level. Am I able to get a few of them to go and spend a day in another company and to just share and understand how middle management level operates on the other side?
So guys, have you subscribed? Please subscribe.
Like now. It's not, because it's not really about 1 + 1 = 2. Sometimes it's even like when you say, how do leaders identify that someone is going through something and say, I've given you an afternoon off? How do we create exchange programs that people are able to share within each other and able to learn? Because, we all don't have the formula on figuring out life 100%.
Yeah, but I think when these people, because giving our CEO as an example, people that have not spent time with him will not know him, will just see him as a huge success story right in front of them. But given an opportunity to speak to other people, to spend time with them, they'll understand that this is a human being. And from his story that maybe they have not heard, they're able to learn something. They learn that it is okay for me to go through some things in life. It's human. And it is okay for me to let them be, and I go through that process and move on.
Yeah. Have you ever been on air and you're going to open broadcast or going into a new story and you realize that your mind has not been in the studio?
Yeah.
Until the news director tells you, hey, you're like, wait, what? Where have I been? I've seen it on TikTok when someone is driving the car and then all of a sudden they realize they were not in the car, and then they have to sit proper and start driving. What are you guys struggling? Are you suffering silently? Are you really one of those people who are going through high performance depression? You are performing quite well, beating deadlines and achieving all these successes, but at the same time, inside, you're struggling mentally. Let us know, how are you dealing with it, so people can be able to maybe pick from your experience. And it's a thing that I think we need to openly now talk about.
Yes, definitely. So, Canary, have you seen people in the office that are just seated there and not talking? Someone comes in today and they're not talking, and everyone else is moving about with their day.
Yeah, I know such people. I know such people. Sometimes you want to walk to them and say, are you okay?
And then
you feel like, am I not overstepping this whole thing?
So how do you know when to help? And
I've always said this, if someone needs help, they should ask for it. I'm one of those people.
That's an assumption, Canary. That's an assumption.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to over-assume your closeness with this person.
Yeah, because sometimes you're telling people, come out, talk about it, seek for help. And maybe they don't know how. They don't know where to start from. So we say, maybe we'll take the first.
One of my friends, Alan Kasuja, when every time he meets me, say, hey man, how are you doing? I say, I'm okay. He'll hold your hand, say, man, are you okay? Like, yeah, I'm okay. No. Talk to me. Are you okay? Alan, man. Yeah, I'm okay. Okay. But like for real? Then I feel like that's an icebreaker. If you figure out like someone is struggling with something and they're all like, sometimes you see someone on their laptop but you're doubting whether they're actually reading whatever is on their laptop. So I think that would be an icebreaker. Say, no. Forget this whole thing of how are you? I'm fine. Are you okay? Can you talk about something?
But I think we've also normalized, how are you? I'm okay. Even when you're not okay.
Because sometimes, man, you just don't want to talk to someone randomly about your problems.
But you know your people. Like if Canary asks me, am I okay? if I'm not okay, I'll say I'm not okay.
Okay, so no, I get the point where you say you choose the people you want to speak to about certain things.
But you can't just keep quiet.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's a journey. It's a journey. For example, you'll barely find me talk about myself with just everyone. But it's a journey. We'll get there.
But I think.
So what do you want me to tell you when you say, how are you?
Of course, I'll get it out of you. I'll be there.
Yeah, but you also don't want to be the person who's always with problems.
That's what we're talking about. Society and culture expectations. Why shouldn't you have problems? Are you a tree? Are you a table? You're a human being.
You're gotta have some time when you're happy, and I don't know.
Maybe.
Because at any one point, you're going through something. The levels differ.
Yes.
But at any one point, you're going through something.
So now that the levels differ, you will not be in that moment of sitting alone. By the time you're in that moment, it's right?
Extreme, yeah.
And then there are the usual day-to-day issues. You will not be in that space of sitting alone. So I think it's also up to us. Let's walk up to someone and say, are you okay? And if you feel that, okay, it's not genuine, are you...
How I feel we can make that work is return the favor.
How?
If you've talked to someone about something, you also ask them, are you okay? They can also be able to share.
Yeah.
There's someone I know, every time I talk to them, they have problems. I know that they really exhaust me. But they're complaining about something, they're complaining about a supervisor, they're complaining about... To be honest...
They haven't found solutions to their problems.
To be honest, sometimes I really want to dodge stepping into their office because I know they'll be complaining, asking my opinion about something. And
there's no happy moment.
Yeah, not that if they asked me if I'm fine, that I would say anything to them, but not even bother to ask me, hey, are you all right today?
Like it shouldn't be about you all the time.
Yeah, it shouldn't be about you. That you create this whole thing. So we should be able to return the favor. If Sheila asks me, are you okay? And you tell me, okay, no, there's this thing. Okay. Next time I see you, I would expect you to ask me, are you okay? Is everything fine? Is everything at work okay?
Maybe because in their eyes, everything for you is perfect because that's a picture you're portraying. But that's a facade. They don't know. But they could also look up to you walking into their office because they have no one else to let out to but you.
Yeah.
So please keep walking in that office. Maybe one day they'll invite you for a drink. It will be a happy moment.
I always give the advice I feel like I can. And because sometimes I feel like they have no one to talk to. And we are not even that close. By the fact that they feel confident in speaking to me about it, I'll be like, okay, sometimes open up. Sometimes I'll be like, today I'm late for my broadcast. If I walk into this office, that is it. I'm going to be late forever.
No, but I think you're their safe space.
But sometimes...
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, no, it's a good feeling to know.
But also they see you the way people that maybe don't know you that much see you.
Yeah.
Everything is okay. Forgetting that... You're also a human being.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're trying to break down today. Just because someone's face is happy at all times and they're a happy person, whatever, doesn't mean they're not struggling internally or silently. Reach out to them. Maybe this happiness could be covering up for so much.
Or do it the Alan way.
Or do it the Alan Kasuja way. Are you really, really, really okay? So guys, can you tell us, are you really, really, really okay? Yeah? Let us know in the comment section. And subscribe. This is Mind Your Head because it's all you've got.